All right, so what we have behind me is a 2001 Ducati 996. I just picked up about a week ago. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do with it. I bought it. I felt like it was a pretty good price for what it was, even if I, worst case, decided to part it out and make my money back that way. But after going through a little bit last night, I still don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'd like to. The biggest issue with keeping it is paperwork. I don't have any previous paperwork, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this thing registered and get a title. But we're going to try. I think we're going to try after today. So this is essentially a barn find. It's been sitting in essentially a garage or a shed for well over 10 years, probably close to 15 years. I didn't find it. I actually bought it from a kid who happened to stumble across it about a month ago from a guy who was selling some dirt bike parts or something. So he happened to see it, picked it up, and then it was too much for him. He's not a Ducati guy. He's a dirt bike kid. So he decided to sell it. I saw it and I thought, for the price of it, even if I had to part it out, I thought it was still worth it. So I picked it up. Here we are. I almost instantly regretted it after I bought it. And then I decided to go through a little bit last night and at least get the electrical up to par, make sure it was doing what it was supposed to, make sure it was sending electrical signals to whatever it needed to, the fuel pump, the ignition system, all that good stuff, make sure all that worked. When I started, I was halfway there. The headlights worked and the lighting worked, but the fuel pump wasn't getting a signal. The starter wasn't getting a signal. So that was all an issue, and I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I really don't. And then being nervous about the engine condition being sitting for so long. But let me go over the bike real quick with you. I'll turn the camera on and we'll go from there. So here's the bike without most of its fairings. It's got really low miles for the year. Like I said, it sat for a long time. That's why it's got such low miles. So the engine should be in pretty good shape, but because it sat so long, it makes me nervous, as like anything else would. But all the fairings are off. It's got an original tail. It's got aftermarket side fairings and nose fairing, and obviously front fender fairing. Everything else is original. I think it's got an upgraded rear shock. I don't think any of the base models came with the Öhlins rear shock or these titanium nitride coated forks. I think those are an S model or an SPS model or something of that nature. Someone could probably correct me. But it's got those upgrades, or it's got those parts on it, and it's got the aluminum Marcassini wheels on it, the 5 spokes. Those came factory in the later models, but nonetheless, they're pretty cool. I do like the old style 3-spoke, so maybe I'll pick up a set of those to kind of swap them out whenever I want a different look. Anyway, so that's a quick rundown of the bike. I got the fuel pump is priming. I bench tested it. It's good to go. I had to borrow a throttle body set from another enthusiast. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Let me borrow those. They'll get me up and going, hopefully. The only difference with his came off a 748, which only has 2 injectors. Mine has 4 injectors, being a 996, needing a little bit more fuel. So we're hoping that this works to a point where it'll at least let it idle. I don't need high RPMs off of it. Hopefully it's enough fuel to get it to idle. But yeah, I got the electrical sorted out. I realized the main issue was actually the side stand. So normally the side stands come with a kind of a kill switch mounted right here. So when the side stand is down, you can't start the bike. Once I realized that was the issue, I just jumpered the wires and just to bypass it, and here we are. So all the electrical is working. Fuel pump is priming, and the starter is starting. So now it's to put everything all together and see if she turns over. So that's what we are going to start next. All right, well, she's got fuel. The original fuel pump still works. I gave it power on the bench and she turned on, so we'll see if she primes in a minute, but it's got fuel now. It's got oil pressure. I cranked it over for about 10 to 15 seconds without fuel in it. The oil light went away, so oil pressure is good. The fuel seal is leaking, unfortunately. I know generally when you replace these fuel pump assemblies, you always want to replace the seal. I didn't have one. It looked like it was in good shape. I cleaned it, I lubed it up, and she's leaking, unfortunately. But for the test run, I think she'll do. So I think we're ready to crank her over and see if she makes a little bit of noise. I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie, but first we're gonna start with the prime. And prime. She's priming. Try it again. I'll do that a couple times. Get some air out. once more. Oh, I still hear some air. Do it again. And one more for good measure. Sounds good. Check for major leaks. Don't see any major leaks. So I think we're good for a test fire. Well, make sure she's in neutral. She's in neutral. Shit. I guess we're ready. All right. And fire. Did I plug the injectors back in? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, injectors are plugged in. I should probably plug that vacuum hole. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I just had to plug out the vacuum port where I disconnected that charcoal canister from. Let's try it again. And go. Oh, we got some noise. I have to adjust the throttle a little bit. Well, I think I got some rat stuff in the exhaust. So maybe I should pull the exhaust off and get that out of there. I don't know if that'll really matter, but there's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull that clutch cover off because I remember pulling it off before and it got dented. So I'm gonna pull that clutch cover off and make sure she's not binding on anything in there. And sounded like a lot of rod knock, but that's probably just the damn clutch. But let me put this on pause. Let me take the clutch cover off and adjust the throttle a little bit open. And oh, you know what? I got that cold start button, so I'm gonna try that. But give me 1 minute. All right, so clutch cover's off, and I wanted to take it off because it did get dented there at some point. And when I took it off last time to look, it definitely it machined itself away. So I think we're okay, but I'm gonna leave it off for now anyway. Make sure I think it's caught in there. I think we'll be okay to do that. Nothing's in the way. So I think we're good there. Batteries, I don't know if it's low on juice or just, that's how slow these crank. I forgot, but I think we're gonna get one more shot just to make sure we don't hear any nasty sounds, although it's tough to tell rod knock from that clutch, I think so. But we'll hear the fuel pump. She's good. If it does start, oh, you know what? I gotta adjust that throttle, hang on. Let me see if I can do that from here. Yes, I can. I'm gonna do this. Open the throttle just a little. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I had the stupid cold start. What am I talking about? Let's, that little cold start button there. That should be good. All right, let's see what she sounds like, all right? All right, let's try it again. Enough for now, but she's running. So I just looked behind the bike and I'm like, what's all this stuff all over the driveway? Oh, that's mouse nest stuff that was in the exhaust. So that's fun. Hopefully it didn't make its way into the engine and just the exhaust. Maybe the low point of the exhaust there. Gosh, you know, I didn't think about taking the exhaust off and checking that. Probably should have, but I mean, she sounds okay. Aside from the loud ass clutch, I forgot how loud they were. Just fine by me, but still. Yeah, so I don't know. I think round two would probably be after I pull the exhaust off, clean that out, maybe check inside the exhaust ports and make sure nothing's freaking wedged in there. I'll have to replace that fuel tank seal, but the pump's good. She cranks over, she does fire up. She just is not a little happy. She's a little grumpy being awakened after a 15-year hiatus. But, I mean, success, I guess, right? Cool. Yeah. All right, I'm going to close this out. Peace.